Alright, let's dive into something that's been bubbling up in the news lately, the escalating tensions between the US and Iran, and the role President Trump is playing in all of this. But here's the thing, this isn't just another geopolitical update. What makes this really interesting is how Marco Rubio's recent comments highlight a shift in how the US is approaching Iran. Personally, I think this is more than just tough talk, it's a reflection of a broader strategy that's reshaping the Middle East dynamic. So Rubio says Iran has never faced a president like Trump. On the surface, that sounds like political rhetoric, right? But if you take a step back and think about it, there's some truth to it. Trump's approach to Iran is fundamentally different from his predecessors. What many people don't realize is that for decades, Iran has been able to play the long game, negotiating, stalling, and sometimes outright breaking agreements without facing immediate consequences. Trump, however, seems to be operating on a different playbook. He's not just talking tough, he's taking action, whether it's withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal or launching strikes against Iranian-backed targets. This raises a deeper question, is this approach effective, or is it just escalating tensions further? Now let's talk about the recent developments. Kuwait intercepting Iranian drones, attacks on commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran threatening to target US and Israeli energy infrastructure, it's all happening at once. One thing that immediately stands out is how Iran is expanding its aggression. They're not just targeting military assets, they're going after civilian infrastructure and commercial shipping. In my opinion, this is a calculated move to destabilize the region and send a message, if you come after us, we'll hit back where it hurts. But here's the kicker, Trump's administration isn't backing down. The White House has made it clear that Iran will continue to pay until they come to the table in a meaningful way. This back and forth feels like a high-stakes game of chicken, and I'm not sure either side is ready to blink. What this really suggests is that we're in a new phase of US-Iran relations, one defined by unpredictability and brinkmanship. From my perspective, this isn't just about Iran and the US, it's about the entire Middle East. Countries like Kuwait, Qatar, and Israel are caught in the crossfire, and the U.S. Embassy warnings for Americans in the region show just how volatile the situation is. A detail I find fascinating is how Iran's Major General Ali Abdollahi Aliabadi warned that countries acting as a defensive shield for the U.S. will burn in the fire of war. That's not just a threat, it's a declaration of intent. And it's a reminder that this conflict isn't contained, it's spilling over into the broader region. Now, let's circle back to Rubio's point about Trump being a different kind of president. Personally, I think he's right, but not necessarily in the way he intended. Trump's approach is bold, but it's also risky. By taking direct action and refusing to negotiate on Iran's terms, he's forcing a confrontation. The question is, will this strategy pay off, or will it lead to a wider conflict? What many people don't realize is that Iran has been preparing for this moment for years. Their threats to target energy infrastructure aren't empty words, they have the capability and the will to follow through. So if Trump continues to push, we could be looking at a major escalation. Here's where it gets even more complicated. The US isn't just dealing with Iran, it's dealing with Iran's proxies, like Hezbollah in Lebanon. The recent injury of an Israeli combat officer in southern Lebanon is a reminder that this conflict has multiple fronts. Iran isn't just fighting the US, it's fighting through its allies. And that makes the situation even more unpredictable. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just a bilateral issue, it's a regional powder keg. So what's the takeaway here? In my opinion, we're at a critical moment. Trump's approach to Iran is unlike anything we've seen in recent history, and it's forcing everyone, Iran, US allies, and even global powers, to recalibrate. But here's the thing, while Trump's strategy might be effective in the short term, it's also incredibly risky. Iran isn't going to back down, and neither is Trump. This raises a deeper question, are we on the brink of a major conflict, or is this just a new normal for US-Iran relations? Personally, I think it's too early to tell, but one thing is clear, the Middle East is in for a turbulent ride, and the rest of the world will be watching closely. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.